The unions help to preserve a balance of power in this country, ensuring that corporate interests and the bottom line don't trump the American dream or American values. One of the greatest strengths of Wisconsin is that we have a sustainable middle class. We have to keep it that way, because right now we are the last defense, ladies and gentlemen. We are the people that are standing in front of the Koch brothers. We are the people that are standing in front of Scott Walker's legislation that strips us of our rights, strips us of our ability to sit down with our employer, talk about hours, wages, and working conditions. We are the last defense. Look around. We have to stand strong and stay together. Now my second question is, what's the role of the other side? What's the role of government? Well, I did a little research, and nowadays when us younger people research, what we do is we don't go to the library, we go to the computer and Google it. Yeah. So I Googled what is the role of government, and what came up right away. 1854, Abraham Lincoln wrote an essay, and he asked that question: what is the role of our government? Why do we need government? Why do we pay taxes? He says, the legitimate object of government is to do for the people what they need to have done, but which they cannot do at all, or cannot do so well for themselves, in their separate and individual capacities. So certainly no individual can deliver modern medical health care to himself. He can't be his own fire department. He can't be his own police department. One person can't plow all the roads in the state of Wisconsin. He can't build a road. He can't build a bridge by himself. He can't provide for common schools. So this is the role of government. So now we're going to ask our government to do the right thing and do what we just talked about, instead of taking workers' rights from common people like ourselves. What is our government trying to do right now? Or what is the state of Wisconsin? Republicans, and I don't even like to call them Republicans. There's something farther reaching than Republicans, because Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. These are Republicans that we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. This is a whole new fight, something we've never seen before. These are radicals. Right now they're trying to eliminate our voice, desensitize us, discredit us, and fund us. We can't let that happen, because this is an attack on the way of life. This is an attack on our power. I heard a term the other day in Baltimore last week. It was called pornography of power. That's what we have going on in our state, pornography of power. Right now, 1% of the nation controls 42% of the wealth. Pornography of power. And they want more. They don't want just this, they want more than what the 42%. Many compare our movement right now to the civil rights movement. Many compare it to that. But if there was one critique of the civil rights movement, it was that they became somewhat complacent. And they became complacent with the many victories that they won during that day. Brown versus Board of Education in Topeka, Kansas. Voting Rights Act of 1964 and 1965. Now these were all important pieces of legislation. There are other important pieces of landmark legislation that got us to where we are today. But they stopped taking it to the streets. They stopped doing what we're doing right now and rallying, and letting them hear right behind us, in our house, what we want. And not what we ask for, but what we demand. Now maybe they stopped taking it to the streets because there was no need for those type of tactics anymore. Maybe it went from the streets to the courthouse. But they stopped having sit-ins. They stopped going to restaurants, sitting there, making their voices heard. Well, I gotta tell you, I think maybe they lost their sense of moral outrage and their sense of anger. But I'm here to tell you today that we have to reclaim our moral outrage and our righteous indignation, because this is our time and we are the fight of our lifetime.